Now we'll come to the self-excited DC generators. First, under this we will be discussing the shunt generator. Here what is happening, the field winding and armature, right? This is armature and this is field winding. Now in this case, in shunt generator, the field is connected in parallel to the armature. So we have here armature winding which has its own armature resistance. So this is armature resistance, and we have a field winding resistance, RF, and this is induced EMF EA and the terminal voltage VT, right? So if it is connected to a load, then load current is drawn by the load. Current flowing through this field is contributed from the generator. Unlike in a separately excited machine, which was actually fed from a different source, right? Now this is separately excited. Now here this is shunt connected DC generator, self-excited, and this field current is now contributed from the armature current IA. IA is the sum of the load current as well as the field current. And what is the terminal voltage here? Terminal voltage is equals to VT is equals to this back EMF minus this drop. So VT is equals to EA minus IA RA. See, mind you, here I am writing IA, not IL. Earlier in case of separately excited, where IA is equals to IL, now here in this case it is particularly IA, not IL, right? Now these are the equations which describe the shunt generator. The first and the foremost point, how the voltage buildup DC shunt generators. This is what we need to understand. Earlier in this case, the field is actually separately excited, so we are rotating the armature through a prime mover at a rated speed, and field current is supplied from a separate source. So we have flux as well as speed, then definitely EMF is induced in a separately excited DC generator. But what is happening here in shunt generator, there is no flux in the machine. So how to generate this internal EMF is the question, how it is actually built, right? So that is what we are trying to discuss, that is voltage buildup in a DC generator. Now if we try to recollect the magnetization curve, now we have here a small amount of DC induced voltage due to residual flux inside the machine. There will be a small amount of voltage induced at zero excitation. So due to residual flux, a small induced EMF exists in the armature. Now what happens is, this small EMF creates a further increase in the field current. This line, let me draw the one more line. Now this is V versus voltage V versus IF, that is resistance line, RF line. So we have a fixed field resistance. So as IF is increasing, it is linearly increasing with respect to the slope, RF slope. RF is the slope, okay, which is constant for a given machine. So as IF is increasing, the RF is the VT is increasing, the terminal voltage also increasing. Now this EMF will try to circulate or generate a particular voltage at the field, across the field winding, that is VT. This is VT, this is VT. Now for this VT, there will be corresponding IF. Now for this corresponding IF, there will be corresponding internal EMF generated in the machine, and for this internal EMF there will be a corresponding terminal voltage Vt, and for this terminal voltage there will be a IF developed, and this IF again will increase the internal induced EMF EA, and for this internal EMF the corresponding terminal voltage is this much, and for this terminal voltage again there will be a IF flowing in the field circuit, and which will again internally generate an induced EMF of this value. So this process goes on, that is the internal EMF generated will lead to increase in the field current, and the field current will lead to increase in the terminal voltage. So this process goes on, and this is called the voltage built up in the self-excited DC generators. Now where does it go? Till it goes up to this point. The intersection point is when does this E and V will be equal? The terminal, when does the Vt and the internal EMF will be equal? Can you guess? At IL is equals to 0, at no load. At no load condition, the terminal voltage is itself is equals to the internal EMF equals, because IA RA drop is 0. Okay, so now I hope you have understood this one, how the residual flux will lead to increase in terminal voltage and the field current will increases, and this in turn increases the internal EMF voltage, and which, so I am writing here this increases Vt increases, IF increases, which again leads to EA increase, and again this cycle goes on like this. So this is how the voltage built up takes place in self-excited DC generators. Now the question is, there may be sometimes failure of the internal EMF build-up. Some reasons. What are those reasons? It could be no residual flux. So the machine is getting older and older. At some day the residual flux goes into 0. That is one reason. And second reason, the direction of rotation of the generator is reversed. The prime mover driving the generator is now rotating in reverse direction due to change in supply terminals. And the third reason could be the field resistance during voltage control. You might have placed field adjusted rheostat such a large value such that this overall, this RF plus R adjusted increases beyond the critical resistance, right? So now what is critical resistance? These are the RF lines, right? The slopes. So RF may be set for lower values like this, or RF may be set for higher values like this, right? So this is RF increasing. Our overall field RF may be RF plus R adjusted may be, right? So it may go like this, right? Now to generate the EMF or built up voltage EMF built up in the self-excited DC generators, this resistance line should at least be below the tangent line to the magnetizing curve. This line it can be this line or below these lines, right? Condition is to voltage build up. For voltage build up, the RF slope should be below the tangent to magnetization line, and this particular line which is just touching the magnetization line is called critical resistance in the field. And beyond that critical resistance, if field is offering more resistance than this slope line, then the voltage build-up will not take initially. And this magnetization curve, what I have drawn here, this line is particular to one particular omega. If I increase the omega or decrease the omega, if I increase the omega, then voltage build-up will be rising like this. If I decrease the omega, it will fall like this. The build-up, because E is some constant multiplied by flux multiplied by omega. So if I maintain flux constant but the speed increase or decrease, this will increase or decrease. So at different speeds, at different rated speeds, which is above the rated speed, then EMF, the magnetization curve would be higher than the earlier one. If omega 2 is lower than the omega 1, then the EMF internal generated, the magnetization curve will be lower than the earlier one, right? Now, depending upon the speeds, also this magnetization curve changes, and hence the critical resistance of the field also changes. Right? So if I want to operate at different speeds, then I need to keep in mind what is my critical resistance of the shunt field winding. DC shunt generator performance characteristics. That is, first one is OCC and second one is terminal characteristics. OCC, because the field is now connected in shunt to the armature, we don't have control on this field circuit current. So our characteristics is plotting the IF versus EA. As we vary IF, how does the induced EMF vary? But as a shunt generator, it is now connected to a armature. We don't have actually control. But to draw the OCC, we connect as if the generator is a separately excited generator and field is now connected to a variable source, or we place a variable resistor in series with the field winding and take up IF versus IA as similar to that of a separately excited generator. The OCC is, we can do a experimental setup similar to that of a separately excited generator. But when it is actually connected as a shunt generator, like this, field is now connected to the shunt armature. Now voltage buildup takes place as the speed is now varying from 0 to rated speed. Field is connected to the armature. Due to initial residual flux present in the core, as the speed increases, this will create some terminal voltage or some voltage appearing at the armature, which again increases the terminal voltage here Vt, and which in turn increases the field current IF. And again, as field current is increasing, this again in turn increases the induced EMF. So this process goes on and it settles. As earlier I have said, it starts moving like this and up to it comes to and settles to the no load terminal voltage, no load induced EMF, because there is no load, so it will set up. So as a shunt generator, when we start rotating the armature slowly and bring to the rated speed, the voltage will build up and it will settle at the final nodal voltage when the speed attains its rated value. That is what the two things we have. One is OCC characteristics and other one is the voltage build up as a shunt generator itself. Okay, now this is clear. Now let us come to the terminal characteristics. We draw now the terminal voltage versus the load current. Now first we assume there is no armature reaction taking place in the machine, which means there are compensating windings and there are interpoles, and those are taking account about the armature reaction, and the armature reaction is not present in the machine. We know that EA is equals to K phi omega, and as a shunt generator the speed is always maintained constant. Now EA is now only dependent on the flux, depend on the machine, but flux is itself again depending upon the field current, which is actually in a shunt generator not in our control. It is not controlled externally. It depends upon the terminal voltage. This flux is, this IF is now depends upon the terminal voltage. Here the terminal voltage VT, depending upon the VT, the current flowing in the field current varies, right? As a shunt, we are talking about the terminal voltage versus the load current. So what happens here? As the load increases, armature current increases, because IA is equals to IL plus IF, sum of the two currents, load current plus field current. So field current is very, very small. Let us assume that the load current, with the increase in load current, the armature current is increasing. But with the armature current increasing, this VT is equals to EA minus IA RA equation. As the IA is increasing, the IA RA drop also increases, and at first instant the VT is decreasing because of increase in drop. But what is happening? Due to this decrease in VT here, the current IF decreases. Due to decrease in VT, the current IF increases, which further decreases the flux and in turn decreases the induced EMF in the machine. Decrease in the induced EMF again, which further again decreases the terminal voltage. There is double effects, right? So if you see the characteristics VT versus IL, the green plot, this plot is actually having a difference of IA-RA drop with respect to the normal no load induced EMF in the machine, right? But which was actually in the case of separately excited machine. This characteristics was terminal voltage versus IL, which was in actually separately excited machine. But due to reduction in the field current and hence flux and hence the EA, this flux weakening is taking place extra in the shunt generator. This is due to the flux weakening. Flux weakening particularly due to IF, not armature reaction, mind you, not armature reaction, but it is due to reduction in the IF, due to reduction in the terminal voltage in the shunt generator. So these characteristics is the terminal voltage versus IF. Now the reduction in VT with increase in IL is more severe in case of shunt generator as compared to the separately excited generator. This is what the conclusion we draw, right? Now mathematically, if I want to draw this particular curve, I can derive the relation between VL and IL. I can derive the relation between VL and IL, but only under some condition, right? What is that condition? The core should be in unsaturated region. It should be in linear region, right? So if I take EA, actually EA is equals to K phi omega is constant, and now I say EA is equals to some other constant into phi, or instead of phi I can write if, right? So which is I am writing Ka is equals to some other constant K dash into if. Only thing is this and this should be linearly related. If they are non-linearly related, then it will fail. Okay, so this sort of equation holds good only for linear relationships, right? That is only possible under unsaturated region, linear region. That's what I have exclusively written. So just substitute Vt is equals to Ea minus Ia. Okay, I have just expanded this one. So this is Vt is equals to Ea minus Ia Ra. So Ea is, I have written K prime If. If is again Vt by Rf, terminal voltage by Rf, minus this Ia is sum of the two currents, that is IL Ra plus minus IF Ra. I have expanded this one. So the same thing I have writing here in the first equation. So K dash Vt Rf minus IL Ra minus If. If again I am writing in terms of Vt by Rf into Ra. So rearranging Vt coefficients all at one place. So you have here minus Ra into IL. And again taking the minus sign, multiplying by both sides and minus signs, I am rewriting, and Vt now can be expressed as this constant multiplied by. So because we are assuming this is a linear unsaturated region, that is why we got constant relationship. So you can now show the line, something, a straight line like this, single straight line like this in case of shunt generator, but only under the assumption that they are linearly related. But in practice it is not true. So we have to take it exact conditions and then try to obtain the terminal voltage from the machine. So that is possible only with the graphical method, right? Again I am showing here DC generator, shunt generator. Now here this plot is OCC and this plot is the RF line, and the intersection point is the no load voltage, which I have shown here on this Vt and IL graph, right? So if you notice here from these graphs, two graphs, because the speed is maintained always constant, speed is independent of the operation of the shunt generator, speed is always constant. So as E is proportional to flux and phi, this is constant. Now for any other variable flux, this Ea wholly lies on this graph, yes or no, right? So with the variation of the flux, this point can be anywhere on this magnetizing graph for a shunt generator, right? And when it comes to this line, because for a given shunt field resistance, this line is fixed, right? This line is fixed. Now for any value of If, the terminal voltage will lie on this line itself, it will not go beyond this. For any value of shunt field current that or otherwise field, the terminal voltage always lie on this same graph, right? Now because the relation between this Vt and Ef is given by Ea minus Vt is equals to Ia Ra, this is the difference of these two voltages is always Ia Ra, where Ea is always lying on the magnetizing curve and Vt is always lying on the RF line. Then this perpendicular line between these two graphs indicates the Ia Ra drop. This indicates Ia Ra drop, right? Now no armature reaction is 0. Then directly if I could able to find out this magnitude IA RA drop, how can I calculate? So I only assume that IA is now approximately equals to the load current. Load current we know, load current from this, because we know the load current. So I take IL as IA and calculate this IA RA drop. Once I get the IA RA drop and I move this one, I move this one and fix exactly fitting between these two graphs like this, and then calculate the corresponding terminal voltage onto this line, particular load current and the terminal voltage. I'll point out there, right? So likewise, so once I know the load current, I'll find out IA RA drop and place this IA RA magnitude or the vertical magnitude line exactly connecting this and these two graphs. Then I will be getting the final terminal voltage on the RF line for that particular load current. Okay, this is how you can calculate graphically a terminal voltage given any load current, because what is actually happening here, as the load is increasing, IA is increasing, IA RA drop is increasing, this terminal voltage is reducing, the field current is reducing and phi is reducing, which in turn reduces the EF. So this is how the field again is connected back to the internal induced EMF. So we have to calculate graphically only to get a exact terminal voltage of a shunt generator. Now this is without armature reaction. Fit this IA RA drop between these two and find out the corresponding final terminal voltage. Okay, that's it. Now coming to when armature reaction is present, now we have a net flux in the machine. Net flux is the MMF, magnetomotive force, minus the armature reaction MMF, right? So the net MMF will be equals to the difference of these two, right? So the armature reaction MMF, if I divide it by the armature reaction MMF divided by the field turns, okay, then I will be getting equivalent armature reaction current, which I have to subtract back from the normal excitation. Okay, so for a given load current, I am saying for a given load current, you calculate the first vertical line, that is IA RA drop, and to this line, this line, you add, or vectorially you add this IA RA armature equivalent armature reaction component current. This is equivalent armature reaction component current in amperes. Okay, so this drop is in voltage because this is in vertical axis, this is in current horizontal axis. So you have to vectorially add these two components and then join, and now place in these two graphs such that it meets the two OCC magnetizing curve and the terminal voltage curve exactly, and hence this voltage will now be equals to the corresponding terminal voltage of the machine with the armature reaction taking into consideration. So say without armature reaction, with only IRA drop, it would have been here, the terminal voltage would have been slightly greater. But with the armature reaction, what happened? The same vertical length, but we have now subtracting the armature reaction backside like this. This will be fitting just below this one. So the terminal voltage is now reduced to little further more with the armature reaction, right? So likewise, I have to calculate the IARA drop and calculate the equivalent armature reaction current component from the armature reaction MMF, and then add these two vectors and place this triangle fitting between these two curves, and hence find out the terminal voltage from the graph for a given particular load current. So that is how you have to calculate the terminal voltage when armature reaction is present. So here I have shown this is without any, this is no load EMF for any actual EMF, and from here this is IARA drop, and again this would be the flux reduction due to field current in shunt generator, slight reduction like this, and this is due to armature reaction. So ultimately, with armature reaction in a shunt generator, this curve would be more steeply reducing from the normal no load voltage, right? So this is about the two characteristics of a DC shunt generator. Now we will quickly take up one small example to understand more about this. Right? Without any external, with no load, with what you say, with no load at the terminals. If we take